Heartwarming note: the 7-year-old waitress reveals incredible life change for undercover millionaire. Julie's heart raced as she weaved through the packed diner, her apron already stained from the morning rush. The clattering dishes and streams of laughter filled the air, a comforting cacophony that momentarily drowned out her worries. In her mid-30s, she was a whirlwind of resilience, juggling her duties as a single mother to Lily and Max while working double shifts to keep their heads above water. Since the loss of her husband, a decorated veteran, every second was a battle against overdue bills, but hope flickered in her heart like an undying flame. This was no ordinary morning at Mel's Diner, where the scent of fresh coffee mingled with the sound of sizzling bacon. As she poured syrup into a small pitcher, a flicker caught her eye. It was Lily, her eyes as bright as ever, crafting a note with her trusty crayon on a nearby napkin. Julie smiled, her tension easing for just a moment. The innocent play of her daughter was a reminder of life's simple joys. Across the room sat Tom, an undercover millionaire in search of purpose, weary from the emptiness his wealth had brought. Unbeknownst to Julie, the very world she was desperately navigating was one he was determined to understand. As he contemplated his next steps in life, the waitress he admired became the centerpiece of an unexpected journey. Just as Tom lifted his coffee cup, Lily stealthily delivered her note, a tiny piece of paper with giant implications. "Thank you for loving my mom. She's my hero." Those words cut through Tom's defenses like a warm breeze on a chilly day. For the first time in years, his heart cracked open a little, igniting a spark within him. It made him question his intentions to swoop in with money as a lifeline. What good would it do without understanding? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. With a newfound mission in his heart, Tom returned to the diner. But as he walked in, the air thickened with tension. Locals glanced his way, suspicion in their eyes. Was he just another outsider looking to throw money at their problems? Murmurs snaked through the crowd as they eyed the well-dressed stranger, the uneasy atmosphere weighing down on Julie like a heavy blanket. Caught in between, Julie could feel the heat of their gazes. Deep down, she held her pride close. Accepting help from someone who lived in another world felt like an unbearable weight. Yet she also sensed Tom's sincerity, his intent to connect rather than condescend. As the stakes rose with unspoken judgments, a crisis brewed that would force both of them to confront their own fears. Could they bridge the chasm between compassion and class? With lives hanging in the balance, Julie and Tom stood at a crossroads, on the verge of transformation. But uncertainty loomed. Would a simple note from a child truly create a connection strong enough to break down the walls separating them? Julie could hardly keep her composure as she caught sight of Tom, standing there alone amidst the bustling diner. Her hands shook slightly as she shuffled the plates in front of her,
The familiar weight of judgment felt sharper with each passing second. She forced a smile at a customer, the fabric of her face straining against her worry. Was he really here to help, or was he just another reminder of a life she could never reach? Tom hesitated, feeling out of place, but driven by something he couldn't quite understand. He'd seen the warmth in Lily's words, but now he faced a wall of hostility. The patrons eyed him with suspicion, whispering in hushed tones as if they were guarding a secret. He felt the chill of their words seep into his bones, a stark contrast to the warmth he had hoped to extend. "Hey, is everything okay?" A familiar voice pulled him back into the moment. It was Brenda, a longtime waitress and a motherly figure at Mel's. She had noticed his unease. Yeah, just feeling a bit outnumbered," Tom admitted, scratching the back of his neck awkwardly. "Just give them time," Brenda said, casting a glance around the room. "They don't take kindly to strangers. But if you're here for the right reasons, they'll come around." The words felt heavy with experience. Tom nodded, appreciating her insight. Perhaps this was the lesson he needed. He wasn't there to just raid the diner with his wealth, but to understand what made this community thrive. How could he change their lives if he didn't fully grasp their struggles? Across the room, Julie poured coffee, her gaze drifting to Tom. Caught in the current of uncertainty, her resolve wavered. Could she trust him? Despite her instincts screaming for self-preservation, something about him seemed different. He moved toward her station, determination etched into each step. "Julie, right?" he asked gently, his voice steady. She met his gaze, surprise playing at the edges of her expression. "Yes, can I help you with something?" "I wanted to ask if I could sit and talk for a moment," he said, gesturing to the small booth nearby. Her heart raced. Sharing space felt like an unnecessary risk. But the glimmer in his eyes sparked a fragment of curiosity. "I suppose so," she replied cautiously, wiping her hands on her apron one last time before heading over. Tom slid into the booth, his demeanor calm yet earnest.
Guia de estilo e instruções para síntese de fala. Você é narrador palestrante com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Contexto de continuidade. A frase anterior era "Turned into the booth, his demeanor calm yet earnest." Você está no meio de uma frase ou pensamento. Mantenha o ritmo e a força vocal, sem quebrar a conexão. Haja como se estivesse transmitindo uma verdade fundamental. Underneath the fine clothing and well-groomed look, she sensed a man yearning for connection. Lily's note echoed in her mind, urging her to open up. Could this be the beginning of something significant, or would it end in yet another disappointment? Before she could respond, the screech of a chair interrupted the moment. Max, her mischievous 5-year-old, darted into the diner, his face flushed from excitement. "Mom, look, I found something!" Julie's heart filled with warmth but also anxiety. What had he stumbled upon? As Max sprinted toward them, the atmosphere in the diner shifted suddenly. All eyes followed him, a mix of curiosity and concern filling the space. What had he brought? Was it joy or trouble? The anticipation hung thick in the eye, igniting a sense of dread within Julie. Just as she braced for the unexpected, she feared it might change everything. Would it draw Tom closer or push them all apart? Julie's heart sank as Max reached their booth, his little hands clutching something close to his chest. The room, now silent, felt charged as if the diners had collectively drawn a breath.
She wished she could push away her fears, but worry clawed at her insides. "What did you find, sweetheart?" she asked, forcing her voice to stay steady. Max beamed, excitement radiating from his small frame. "It's a cat! A fluffy one! Can we keep it, Mom?" He opened his hands to reveal a small, timid tabby. Its fur was matted, and it squirmed under the sudden attention. Julie's eyes widened. A kitten in the middle of a diner? Panic mingled with affection. "Where did you find this?" she asked, searching his face for answers. "Out back. It was crying," Max replied, his voice filled with glee. Julie cast a quick glance at Tom. His eyebrows were raised in surprise, but softened in understanding. This was a moment of joy, yet the thought of what was to come weighed heavily on her. The kitten's presence felt like a beacon of hope, but it could also lead to chaos. The diners were already watching with mixed feelings. "Mommy, please, can we keep it? I promise I'll take care of it." Max's eyes glimmered with innocence. Julie knelt to his level, her heart aching at the sight of his pleading expression.
"Money, we have to think about this. A kitten is a big responsibility." "Please," Max insisted, his voice rising ever so slightly. The diner's eyes flickered between them, some smiling at the scene, others exchanging doubtful glances. Tom leaned forward, a soft smile on his lips. "You know, my family had a cat once," he said, trying to lighten the mood. Max's eyes darted between the two of them, sensing a connection. "See, Mom? Tom knows about cats. He can help us." The murmur of the diners faded into the background as Julie considered the moment. Could this little creature be a sign? Was it possible that this kitten could weave a thread between her, Tom, and the world outside this diner? "Okay," she said slowly, "but only if you promise to help me take care of it." Max nodded vigorously, grinning from ear to ear. He scooped up the kitten, hugging it close. "I will! I promise, Mommy!" The tension began to ease as the other patrons seemed to warm up to the scene. A few smiles spread through the diner's occupants, and Brenda came over, laughing softly. "Well, looks like we just got a new mascot." Julie found herself chuckling too, though the thrum of anxiety still rushed through her. This wasn't just about a kitten, it was a shift in the air. "What's its name?" Tom asked, his genuine interest fostering a connection she hadn't expected. Max thought hard, his little brow furrowing. How about Lucky?" "Perfect," Tom said, leaning back with a content smile. "That's a good name," Julie admitted, though her heart raced with uncertainty. This moment was nice, but it also felt eerily fragile. She was allowing some warmth to seep into her guarded world, but how long could it last? For every laugh and fleeting joy, the burden of reality loomed close. The diner was still filled with its usual weight of expectations, a heavy reminder that joy often came with strings of worry attached. Just then, the door swung open and a group of faces entered, their presence bringing a shift in energy. Are they here to join the warmth or to amplify the judgment already lingering in the air? As they stepped inside, Julie's stomach tightened. What would this mean for Tom, for Max, for the fragile thread they were beginning to weave together? "Julie," she heard Tom say, his tone filled with concern. "Are you okay?" She smiled weakly, the warmth of the kitten still cradled in Max's arms, bringing her some comfort. Yet, in the back of her mind swirled the potent question,
What would Lucky really bring into their chaotic lives? The door swung wider, letting in the unknown. The chatter of voices grew louder as the new group fanned out across the diner. Julie held her breath. It was then that she recognized one of the newcomers, a woman with a sharp gaze.
Claire, a former classmate from high school, stood on the other side of the room, whispering something to a tall man beside her who looked vaguely familiar. The last time they had seen each other was at a reunion, their brief conversation tinged with laughter and a sense of nostalgia that didn't quite reach the heart. Max, oblivious to the tension swirling around, cooed softly at Lucky, his little hands cradling the kitten like a precious treasure. "Look, Mommy, Lucky is so soft." Julie forced a smile, trying to refocus on the sweet moment between her son and the kitten. Yet a chill crept in, wrapped around her heart. What would Claire think, seeing her here, clinging to a small, unkempt tabby in a diner? Would she judge her, like so many others had? "Max," Tom interrupted her spiraling thoughts, "let's take Lucky outside and give him some fresh air. What do you say?" "Yeah!" Max exclaimed, his enthusiasm brightening the atmosphere as he hopped from the booth, kitten still in hand. "Come on, Lucky." "I'll help." Tom stood, signaling to Max to lead the way towards the diner's back door. As they walked past the tables, Claire's voice pierced the air. "Is that really you, Julie?" Julie felt the heat rise to her cheeks. She turned slowly, forcing herself to meet Claire's curious eyes. "Hi, Claire." "Oh, wow, look at you! Still in this little diner?" Claire smiled, but her gaze flicked to the kitten. "You always did have a soft spot for strays." Julie clenched her jaw to suppress a retort. She wanted to defend herself, to explain that this was a part of her life, a choice she made for Max. But instead, she just nodded, a weak smile painted on her face. "Yeah, it's a great little place." "Must be tough, huh? Raising a kid and working here?" Claire's words dripped with a mix of concern and pity. The conversation felt like a spotlight, every word echoing loudly in Julie's head. She glanced back at Max, who was giggling as Tom gently tossed Lucky into the air before catching him again. The joy radiating from them was palpable, a stark contrast to the doubts gathering in her mind. "Do you ever think about leaving?" Claire's gaze softened, almost inquisitive. "I mean, you could do so much more. Maybe get a job in the city or something?" Julie steadied her breath. There was a part of her that craved adventure, a yearning to break the cycle that kept her rooted in this diner. But as she looked at Max, his laughter echoing with the summer breeze, she realized her heart was woven tightly into this life. "I'm happy here, really," Julie replied, more fiercely than she expected. "This is where I want to be." Claire raised an eyebrow, her expression shifting. "Good for you, I guess." With that, the conversation drifted into silence. The door swung shut behind Tom and Max as they returned, Lucky in tow, purring softly in Max's embrace. Tom's smile was infectious as he approached Julie, oblivious to her earlier confrontation. "Isn't he adorable?"
"Yeah," she breathed out, feeling the warmth spread from her heart outwards. Just then, Brenda breezed by with a tray, observing the scene with a smile. "Looks like Lucky's going to be the star of the diner." The sound of laughter erupted again, momentarily replacing the weighty silence Claire had left behind. Yet the doubts still lingered in the corners of Julie's mind.
Questions about her future, about the life she might want, pulled her in different directions. As Lucky purred in Max's arms, Julie felt a flicker of hope. Maybe it was possible to find joy in this moment and still chase after a better tomorrow. But what would that mean for their fragile little family? She looked up, catching Tom's eyes. They held a promise of understanding, an invitation to explore something new. But could she truly embrace that change, or was she too afraid to let go of what she had? The door swung wide once more, and in walked a man wearing a crisp suit, his eyes scanning the diner with a determined intensity. Everyone turned, anticipation swirling in the air. What was his purpose here? What new chapter was about to unfold in their lives? The man in the crisp suit took a few measured steps inside, his polished shoes clicking against the diner's tiled floor. He had an air of authority that drew everyone's gaze, lingering on the cat in Max's arms for just a moment, before settling on Julie. "What's his name?" he asked, his voice low yet commanding. "Lucky," Max squeaked, pride beaming from his small frame. "Lucky indeed," the suited man replied, a flicker of humanity breaking through his composed exterior. "That's a good name for a cat." Julie shifted her weight, her heart racing as those penetrating eyes remained fixed on her. Who was he? A sharp contrast to the blissful chaos of the diner. He seemed out of place amidst the laughter and friendly banter swirling around them. "Can I help you?" finally asked, the words tumbling out before she could hold back. He offered a polite smile, yet she could sense something deeper, an underlying purpose behind every measured word. "Actually, I'm here for a few conversations," he replied, glancing around as if searching for someone. Tom raised an eyebrow, sensing a shift in the mood. "It's local, family-owned. We take pride in our little spot here." "That's exactly what I'm counting on," the man replied, his expression earnest. "I'm looking for potential," he hesitated for a moment, then added, "investments. People who can embody resilience, someone who knows what hard work means." Questions filled Julie's mind. Why would someone like him be here, in this diner, talking about investments? She exchanged glances with Tom, who looked equally puzzled. "I think you might be mistaken," Julie said, some defiance creeping into her tone. "We're not looking to sell anything here. This is a place for people to come together, to find solace in smaller moments."
Homem total, tocante, para encontrar solace em momentos pequenos.
She finally managed, the shock pulling her deeper into memories of laughter and innocence. The past felt tangible, a soft blanket wrapped around her in that moment. "Yeah, I was just passing through and thought I'd stop by." He looked around the diner, taking in the familiar atmosphere. Wow, it still feels the same. Max, oblivious to the whirlwind of emotions, tugged at Julie's shirt. "Mom, who's this?" Julie knelt down, her heart swelling with pride as she introduced them. "This is Noah. He was my best friend when I was your age." "Nice to meet you, little man," Noah said, crouching to meet Max's inquisitive gaze. They exchanged pleasantries, but Julie's mind was racing. The man in the suit had said something life-changing was possible. Was this reappearance a sign? Do you still remember our summer adventures? Noah asked, a playful glint in his eyes. Of course. Climbing trees, building forts, all those crazy plans, she laughed. The familiarity was warm and comforting. As they reminisced, Julie noticed Brenda standing by the counter, her hands on her hips, observing the duo. You two were always up to something, Brenda chimed in, her voice teasing yet warm. Noah chuckled. And you never joined in, huh? Julie watched their banter with a mixture of joy and nostalgia. In this frenetic world of potential change and uncertainty, it felt grounding to connect with someone from her past. But reality knocked at her door like the suited man had moments before. The investor's words echoed in her mind. This could change everything. Have you been away long? Julie asked, pulling herself back to reality. Too long, Noah admitted, glancing nervously at the untouched coffee cups. I've been chasing my dreams, and life took me on quite the journey. Oh, what are you doing now? She inquired, genuinely interested. Photography, he said, passion lighting his eyes. I travel around, capturing moments in different cultures. It's been an adventure, but it often leads me back to places I love. Noah paused, his gaze lingering on her. Julie felt the significance of his words. Could this old friend be a piece of the puzzle she wasn't aware of yet? Maybe their paths were meant to collide at this very moment. Hey, if you need help with whatever you're planning for the diner, Noah began tentatively, I'd love to lend a hand. I may have some connections that could help. His offer hung in the air, surrounded by the chatter of the diner. Julie glanced over at Tom, who looked intrigued. Then there was that man in the suit, still looming in her mind, presenting visions that felt expansive, yet threatening. Might be a good idea, Tom interjected, his brow furrowed in thought. Max jumped in excitement. Can we have a new restaurant, Mommy? Julie's heart felt torn in 1,000 directions. Just moments ago, she contemplated a new life, and now here stood Noah, representing the past and offering potential directions she hadn't considered.
Let's talk more after the dinner rush, she replied, her voice steady but her heart fluttering with apprehension. Amidst the bustling routines of patrons, she sensed more than just a whimsy of nostalgia. Something was brewing, something that could change their lives forever. What if this was the spark they all needed? Just as she felt her determination strengthen, the door swung open again. This time, it was a stormy-faced woman holding a newspaper with a headline that made her blood run cold. "What's going on in here?" the stranger demanded, her eyes darting from Julie to Noah, then finally landing on Max and Lucky. The stranger didn't look like she belonged in this cozy diner. Her hair was wild, like she had just stepped out of a storm, and her eyes scanned the room with intensity. It felt like the air thickened. Silence fell, hanging heavy between them, with every patron momentarily pausing their meals to observe the unfolding tension. Julie's stomach churned. What was that newspaper about? The words "incredible life change" and "undercover millionaire" echoed ominously in her mind. Was it really possible that something so sensational could have anything to do with her small-town diner? "Who are you?" Julie managed to ask, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. The woman turned her gaze fully towards Julie, and for a split second, fear flickered in her eyes. She hesitated, then looked down at the paper she gripped tightly, as if it were some lifeline. "I'm here about this," she said, thrusting the newspaper onto the counter.
It's about you. Julie's heart raced. She glanced at the headline, and her breath caught. There was a picture of her, looking cheerful and busy behind the diner, her hair slightly messy, but her smile bright. Beneath it read, "Heartwarming note from 7-year-old waitress reveals incredible life change for undercover millionaire." Max's curious eyes widened. "Is that you, Mommy?" "Yes, buddy," she replied, even though her voice felt distant. How had a random note from Max caught the attention of an undercover millionaire? Noah's expression shifted from nostalgia to concern. "What did you write?" "I didn't think it was that big a deal," Julie replied, trying to gather her thoughts. The diner had become her life. The joy of serving others was her passion. But how could a note from her child lead to something far beyond her understanding? The stormy-faced woman's demeanor softened slightly. "I came in search for answers. I need to find out more about your story. The investor, he's serious about making changes, but not just for monetary gain. He wants to help in a bigger way." "What do you mean, help?" Brenda chimed from the counter, eyebrows knitted in disbelief. "And what does that mean for our diner?" "Everything," the stranger said, her voice earnest. "He's looking to invest in community-focused businesses."
Your diner could be at the heart of a transformation for you, your son, and everyone here. An excited murmur erupted among the diners, the conversation electrified with potential. But for Julie, the realization came crashing down like a wave. Change wasn't gradual, it was here, knocking at her door. But what kind of change? What would it mean for her and Max? That comfortable feeling from the past, the simplicity of her daily routine, felt at risk. She had to weigh every word against the reality that seemed to leap from the paper. Noah reached for her hand, squeezing gently. "Whatever happens, you're not alone in this. You've got Max, you've got me. Let's face this together." Julie's heart fluttered at the offer of companionship, but fear still gripped her. As she looked around, Max was staring up at her, his innocent face lighting up with excitement. "Can I decorate the new diner, Mommy?" A mixture of tenderness and dread washed over Julie. The wish for a better life battled against the anxiety of change. "Let's just take it one step at a time," she said softly. But deep down, a storm brewed within her. A question loomed larger than ever. Was she ready for whatever would come next? Just then, amidst the hopeful chatter, the door swung wide open once more, and another figure walked in, this time dressed sharply and with an air of importance. Julie's breath hitched as the sudden recognition sprawled across her mind. She knew that face. "Is it true?" he asked, eyes fixed on the newspaper. "Are you really going to change everything?" The weight of that question dangled in the air, setting off a chain reaction of decisions that could redefine her life forever. What was she going to say? Julie stared at the man standing before her, a mix of surprise and recognition washing over her. He seemed every bit as out of place as the stormy-faced woman, but there was a calm confidence radiating from him. His suit was sharp, his posture refined. This was someone who was used to being listened to, the kind of person who could change lives with a single decision. "Are you really going to change everything?" he repeated, his tone both serious and hopeful. The eyes of the diner turned back to her, curiosity mounting like an eager tide. I don't know," she stammered, feeling the weight of their expectations. Would this stranger give them hope or just pile more pressure on her already heavy shoulders? The man stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I'm from Bright Futures Investments."
He glanced around, gauging the audience. "We saw your story, Julie. The note your son wrote." He paused, as if searching for the right words. "It touched our hearts. It's not just about business for us. It's about community, making it better for people like you and your son." Max, still clutching Julie's hand, looked up at her, his wide eyes sparkling with innocent hope. "Mommy, can we help people? Can we make the diner awesome?"
But somewhere, in the depths of that uncertitude, flickers of potential began to spark. What lay ahead could change everything she knew. But was she brave enough to take the leap? Julie sat down heavily at one of the booths, the familiar vinyl squeaking under her weight. She could hear the soft clatter of dishes and the sizzling sounds from the kitchen, comforted by the mundane rhythm of her diner. Yet the warmth of the space felt distant. She stared at the laminated menu as if it held the answers to her swirling thoughts. "What if I mess this up?" she whispered to herself. It wasn't just about red napkins or updated menus. It was about their lives, about Max's future, about all the people who found solace in her little diner. Noah slid into the seat across from her, his brow furrowed. "You okay?" Julie nodded slowly, but the uncertainty was painted on her face. "I don't know how to make a decision like this. It feels too big." "Maybe you don't have to decide right now." He reached over and squeezed her hand, a gentle touch that steadied her racing heart. "It's not that easy." She pushed the menu away, irritation bubbling up. "What if I say no and regret it? Or what if I say yes and ruin everything we've worked for?" Noah ran a hand through his hair, frustration mingling with compassion. "What are you really afraid of? Losing the diner, or losing yourself in the process?" Julie's heart pounded as she looked toward the window, the clouds darkening further. The rain began to patter softly, like a gentle reminder of the emotions she was trying to shove aside. I want what's best for Max, and I don't want to fail in front of everyone." Noah leaned back, thoughtful. "Sometimes growth comes from feeling lost. You've built this incredible place, Julie, but is it really what you want to keep being? A pit stop for the tired? Or can it be a destination?" The thought made her breath hitch. He was right. The diner was special. Every clink of the coffee mugs, every laughter shared, spoke of a history she cherished deeply. But was there space for more? "Maybe it could become a hub," she murmured, trying out the words. "A place where kids gather for after-school programs or community events." "Exactly," Noah's eyes brightened. "You can build something beautiful. You have this opportunity to uplift everyone. A real change for the better." Julie felt a flicker of that earlier hope bloom inside her. "But it's about the money too, isn't it? I'd be taking investment. What if they want to take over?" Noah sighed. "You'll have to set the boundaries. It's your diner, your vision. You just need to be clear about what you want." Max appeared at her side, clutching a crayon and a scribbled drawing. "Look, Mommy, I made a picture of the diner with rainbows and ice cream." Julie looked at the vibrant colors, her heart squeezing at the innocent joy radiating from her son. É assada de firme joia, radiante do seu filho. She could take the leap.